As the Elders Quorum President, I feel my most important calling is to help each individual elder and prospective elder magnify their calling in the priesthood.
You've got brethren that are in all stages of gospel growth. Some are not active. Some are active but struggling. And we need to love them unconditionally and help them to have successes.
We just need to find out what we need to do and just go and do it. And I've found that through prayer and fasting, we can receive the guidance and revelation that we need to be where we need to be at a given time.
I don't think there's anything more important that an Elders Quorum President can do than know the families and know them well enough to when they sit down in a home teaching stewardship interview, ask a brother with 4 or 5 families, Brother Jones, what about the Wilson family? What are we doing there? I know Brother Wilson's had difficulty at work. What are we doing there? What are we doing in that home to help get him to the temple, to help get him to church, to help him honor his covenants?
Jensen's to get the Carters to come, his close friends. What do you think about that? Okay.
Quorum leaders have many duties and responsibilities.
Good to have you with us.
They are to preside at quorum meetings.
Is to invite all of the Lord's children.
They are charged to teach and assist quorum members to carry out their duties as fathers and priesthood holders. They must plan and organize effective home teaching. They are to provide leadership in working with the less active.
We were wondering, George, if maybe
they should conduct regular priesthood interviews, watch over and be with their quorum members, foster brotherhood through service and social activities, and assist members in providing for themselves and their families, teaching principles of self-reliance and organizing the quorum in order to care for the needy. There is much to be done, more than an individual quorum leader can do by himself. When counselors, assistants, and secretaries are given specific assignments, they can carry much of the burden. New programs and new organizations are not needed. All that is necessary is to put the priesthood of God to work.
I feel that we as a quorum presidency have the responsibility to accomplish the mission of the church. And in order to do that, Jan, I'd like to ask you to please take responsibility for the missionary work. And Dennis, if you would take responsibility for the family history area. And as president, I will take responsibility for the perfecting of the saints. And I think that as
each member of the presidency should have an active concern in all quorum affairs. But a convenient way to organize is to give each some specific responsibility. Organizing in this way allows members of the presidency to focus their individual efforts. Then, as they meet together, their specific assignments can be considered in light of the overall efforts of the quorum.
And an opportunity to...
As a quorum presidency, we plan. We get our game plan together, and then we go out and do it.
Somebody has to do work in there. If it's just the Elders Quorum President does the work, it's not a very good meeting. If it's just one of the counselors, it's not a very good meeting. But I think when you get into a meeting where each person has been given responsibilities, been given assignments, comes prepared to report on them, and does so, those are good meetings.
A little bit more on that. Should we proceed over here then with Bob? Yeah, I think we need to look...
Organizing quorum committees provides another way to ease the burden on the presidency and use the full resources of the quorum. For example, a committee could be organized to help direct the missionary effort. They might plan and carry out such responsibilities as finding and fellowshipping, missionary preparation, financial support, community service, and so on. A committee for temple and family history might focus on family research, submitting names for temple work, preparing quorum members to attend the temple, and promoting temple attendance. A committee for temporal and spiritual welfare might be concerned with teaching self-reliance, providing employment assistance and other personal welfare issues. This committee could assist in planning quorum instruction, encouraging family home evenings, and other ways to strengthen family. They could also assist in efforts to strengthen the less active. Flexibility is the key in organizing quorum committees, but the benefits are consistently the same.
I've always felt that quorum committees were the key to a lot of solutions to a lot of problems. Some brethren that are inactive can be asked to serve on committees. Brethren who perhaps don't have the opportunity to, for one reason or another, to serve in other areas can be asked to serve on committees. It gives these brethren a good chance for service that perhaps they otherwise couldn't have. A lot more work can be accomplished because of it. And I think, again, when we're talking about unity in the quorum, I think committees help.
A lot of people are elders and are members of the quorum solely because they hold the Melchizedek priesthood, and they attend our priesthood meetings but don't really feel a part of the quorum. And by involving the individuals as chairmen or serving in committees, we're able to make them really feel like a part of the quorum, like a contributing member of a brotherhood.
I think that any quorum president or priesthood, high priesthood leader who doesn't to some extent use committees, somebody's got to do that work, and it usually will end up being the leader. Why not give that opportunity for growth to some of the members of the quorum and do it through committees?
When quorum leaders organize in order to put the priesthood to work, significant things begin to happen.
We've done a pretty good job, I think, in fellowshipping people. We have a ward mission leader whose responsibility it is to match people up. As people begin investigating the church, he asks people if they wouldn't sit with them and to work with them and maybe visit with them. We do every week go out on splits with missionaries in an effort to try to develop a relationship between a member and an investigator that can evolve into a good relationship as a new member. And we do a lot of that, but the only people who really thrive as members of the church are those people who we're able to give callings to, so that quickly they feel like they're an essential part of the ward organization, that they're contributing, and that there's a need for them to come and to be there and to be involved.
One way quorums help perfect the saints is by providing assistance to those in need. A committee for spiritual and temporal welfare can play an important role in organizing such efforts.
He's been off from work for about 6 months, and he heats his home with wood to help keep the cost down. And we have another brother in our quorum who has a lot of property. Portions of that are wooded, and he heats his own home from the wood on his own land. We've currently got a project going where we as the elders quorum are cutting and splitting and hauling wood over to the first brother's house in an effort to provide him enough wood to heat his home for this winter. He is extremely grateful. I think it strengthened his testimony. He feels the love and concern that we as a quorum have for him. It's just not one individual helping him. It's the whole quorum.
A committee for temple and family history can assist quorum members in a variety of ways.
We decided that not everybody in the ward was in the same position as far as genealogy goes. Had to realize that there were some people who were just baptized last month, the month before, a few months ago, who knew very little about it. had to realize that there were people who had all their genealogy done. So we tried to put together a program where we could tap into the resources of the people who knew something about genealogy, people who had been successful in it. We tried to share testimonies. We tried to utilize those individuals on almost a custom basis to help those who needed help in the areas where they needed help the most. We know that we did that because we were inspired to do so.
Santo Pelletieri was the only member of his family to join the church. It was a difficult transition. The high priest in his ward organized to help him. They provided fellowship and encouragement, helped him prepare to receive the priesthood, and eventually to attend the temple.
He was just a little hesitant to go to the temple because he wasn't sure that he could live the commandments. Not that he wasn't, it's just that he wanted to do everything right and to do it in the right way. And he wanted the approval of his wife and his family, and so it took a while before he made the decision to go. But when he went, he took his 4 generations of his family to the temple with him, and that became the project of the ward for that week that they were there. He was doing his 4 generations. I don't know how many names, but I think it was at least 25 names that he did. And he was just so thrilled. The temple meant so much to him. It was just a beautiful experience for him, and because of that, for everybody else too.
It was an absolute 2.5 days of a spiritual uplifting for me. And I have the gratification to know that I am fulfilling one of the purposes of the church, to redeem the dead.
When quorum leaders organized to put the priesthood to work, significant things happen. There are more opportunities for service, particularly for new members and the less active. Responsibilities can be shared. More priesthood work is accomplished and greater blessings come into the lives of individuals. New programs and new organizations are not needed. All that is necessary is to put the priesthood of God to work.